Hello everyone. So in today's session, we are going to see about the parallel processing. As you know, it's one of the very important and effective performance improvement technique when we don't have any other way, when we are not able to think uh, to improve the performance anyway, then we come to this parallel processing when we are having generally the large amount of data and if we have to process them. So the parallel processing comes effective over there and we use the parallel processing. So we'll understand what is the parallel processing and how we can use in our ABAP program to achieve the performance. Okay. So generally parallel processing we are going to use when we have to process the large amount of data. Okay. So for example, suppose you are having one program and you have to process some thousands records or maybe thousand records may take less time. So maybe we can consider about 1 lakh or 1 million or 1 crore records, which is going to take something like, for example, let's suppose it's going to take some 100 minutes. Okay, so more than 1 hour, 1 hour 40 minutes it's going to take and our business is very much annoyed. He's asking again and again that it's taking very much time. This particular program is taking so much time, so can you please improve this one? Okay, so we know that because large number of records are there and it's going to get processed, and that's why it's taking the time. So one thing you have to remember, the thing is the records which we are going to process that should be independent to each other. Then only we can use the parallel processing. Or you have to bundle that processing in a function module in such a way that the processing in a function module should be independent of each other. So with the help of one example, we will understand what I'm trying to say over here. Okay. But the thing is here mostly the concept we are going to more focus on the concept first, then we will see with the help of an example how we can achieve the function parallel processing. Okay. So, in the concept of parallel processing, we have to understand the things like suppose you are having, 1 million records. So, all the processing, whatever when your program runs, it is picked by a dialog work process. So, you must have to understand like how it works actually. So, you can go to my previous videos and maybe I will share in the description box the link of the like how SAP application server, like how the dispatcher picks the task from the whenever we take any action, dispatcher picks the task and it allocates to the particular work process. Okay, so here in our program, here in this program, when we are going to use the parallel processing, we with the help of the program, with the help of the syntax, we are going to allocate the dialog work process to execute the work. So in parallel processing, like whatever the task is going to be processed, it's going to be processed by the dialog work process. Like whatever we are going to uh, allocate the task, that task is going to be processed by the dialog work process. This is very, very important. Maybe we can note it down over here. So all the tasks in the uh, parallel processing program which is allocated, okay, which is allocated uh, in the work process by the developer, you know by the developer is the dialog work process. Okay, is the dialog work process. So we'll see in detail. Okay, if it's not clear here, we will see in detail when we are going to see in practical mode. We will be able to understand over there what I am trying to tell exactly here about the dialog work process. Okay, so the we are having the big task and it's taking 100 minutes. okay, and we are having the 1 million of records. So the single work process, if you are not going to use the parallel processing technique, then the single work process is going to execute one by one. So 1 million records it will process synchronously, first one record, then second record, then third record, then fourth record, and like that it's going to process. So that's why it's going to take 100 minutes, okay. But you know that the record processing is independent of each other. So what we can do that uh, 1 lakh records we can allocate to one work process, another 1 lakh record we can allocate to another work process, again 1 lakh record we can process to another, and because 1 million records are there, that means 10 lakh records. So 1 lakh 1 lakh 1 lakh records we can process to 10 different work processes, and the time we can reduce by somewhere around 1 by 10, right? So this is like just we are splitting the record, and we are splitting the work into the different work process, and these work process are definitely I'm talking about this work process is going to be the dialog work process. That's what I have written over here. So the allocation which I'm going to do to perform the action in a bundle, that is going to be our dialog work process. All these work process are going to be the dialog work process, okay. So we must have to check how many dialog work processes are available in the system, okay. So some important T codes are there that you have to take care, that you have to go and check, right? So generally that generally that is the work of the basis. You can ask and go to them that can you please give me some uh, server group where I can execute or from where I can consume the work processes, okay. So what I mean to say over here, let me go to the system and I will show you, and go here. So here you can go to /n sm66. So from if you go to the sm66 transaction, if you go to the sm66 transaction, you will be able to see all the available work processes which are uh, all the all the work processes and their states you will be able to see over here. All the work processes you will be able to see over here, and if somebody is using some work process, it will be showing over here. So you can see that it's running this one work processes I'm using over here, but the another work process, okay, the another work process which you can see over here, like these are the different work processes, right? It's in waiting state, so nobody is using these work processes, right? And if you want to see the total work process in the system which are available, with respect to application server, I mean application server wise, if you want to see, so you can go to /o sm51, okay, and here you can see this is the name of the server. Just double click over here and you will be able to see that here for this particular application server, this is the application server name, okay. And here you can see the time and all these things. Total number of work processes is 16 over here, right? So under the 16 work process, you are having total 10 dialog work process, one update work process, three background work process, and one spool work process, and again you are having update tasks too. There are update function module, right? Four types of update function module. So this is the second type of update function module which is going to be executed by the update task too, okay. So uh, fine, I will prepare the video for a separate video for the update function module, okay. So here, like for the dialog work process, you can see the 9 dialog work process is available, and these 9 dialog work process we can use in our program, you know, to allocate the task. Okay. So this is the main thing over here. This dialog work process is going to be mostly useful for us. But in the distributed scenario where you are having in a large company, this work process is not only 10, it can be 100. Okay. for one application server, and similarly there can be multiple application server like 10, 20, something like that, and there you can have the multiple there you can have the multiple work processes because you are having the multiple application server. So let me show you that uh, what actually I'm trying to tell over here. So maybe I can open one new slides. Okay, and here actually what I'm trying to tell that uh, this is you have you have different server. Okay, you have a different one server is this one, and again another server, and again another server, and again another server, and again another server, and again you are having some another server. So maybe you are having different server you are having, right? So maybe here I'm just taking a 1 2 3 4 5 6, and maybe I will take 7 and 8. So different servers I'm just showing over here. Okay, and I'm just going to group it, select everything, and fill, no fill, I don't want to fill anything, and just application server, just I want to write application server 1. Okay, and this is application server 2, application server 2, and then maybe I can write this application server 3, application server 4, application server 5, application server 6, application server 7. So these are the different server we are having: AS2, AS3, AS4, AS5, AS6, and AS7. So you are having 7 application server. Okay, you are having 7 application server. Let me write it over here. For suppose for this application server, suppose you are having some 5 work processes, or generally it will be more than 5. Generally it will be 50 or 45, something like that. Okay, so suppose 40 dialog work processes is there, and similarly here I can tell you suppose 30, and suppose here on this application server you are having some 20 work process. So if you want to see like how many application server on that particular server on the particular system which you are using, you can simply go to SM51 and you can check. Just I have shown you, right? You can go to SM51 and you can check over here, right? Here, because this is a demo system, so only one application server you are able to see, but in the real-time system you will see 1 2 3 4, it will be listed over here. And if you want to see the number of work process associated with that particular application server, you can just double click over here and you can go and you can check how many dialog work processes are available. Okay, so this can vary, the number of people is going to log in, the number of free work processes is going to be less. Okay, so this will keep on varying. This dialog work process will keep on varying, but here you can see these are the 9 work process which are available, so I can use those 9 work process. So total free, nine total free you cannot use. Minimum you have to leave 3 work process or 2 work processes, at least 2 you have to leave in the system, you know so 7 you can use maximum. In this scenario, in the current scenario, suppose you are having total 10 work processes, 10 dialog work processes, so minimum two you will have to leave over here, and 8 you can use maximum. So already one is being used by me, so maybe maximum, so 7 more I can use over here, right? 9 is already a 9 is available, so out of 9, one already I'm using, so 7 more I can use over here. Okay, fine. So uh, uh, fine, so come over here and I will show you here. So here, different work processes you are having. So what will happen, suppose if you are going to use, and similarly let us similarly suppose that here also you are having something like, let me note it down, something like 50 work process, copy, and I will paste it over here. Okay, control Z, is 5 and it will be 50 or 45, then is 6 46 or 49 work process, and here we are having suppose 50 work process. Okay, but the thing is, on each we are having the different application server. The reason behind it, suppose some of the application server is going to crash, then in that case another sub application server can be used and your business will not be stopped, right? Suppose you are using it is something like, suppose you are having one big hard disk. Okay, so you just make them separate in a different drive like A, B, C, D, right? Just for the safer purpose, right? Suppose one drive is going to be crashed, then another you can you can use the another one. So something like that, you know. Uh, Physically, these all are the single system. Okay, generally these all are the single system, but the single system can be distributed in a different application server virtually. Okay, so now what the basis people do, that you can ask them that you want to do the parallel processing programming, and for that purpose you require a dedicated server group, because it is not good practice at all to use all the server and do the parallel processing, because what will happen, uh, while allocating, when we are going to do the programming, at that time you will see that I will use the loop, okay, to allocate the server. Fine, I will use the loop to allocate the server. So what my program will do, it will check all the available work processes, and if any available work processes will be there, it is going to it will go there and allocate. So for example, suppose if you are going to use all these application server, then what will happen, that all the system resources will be occupied by your task, and other person, if suppose going to log in and trying to perform their task, he will not be able to perform their task in a well. Okay, so that's the problem. So what the basis people will do, for you, he will go into the transaction RZ1 and he will create a dedicated server group. So in that dedicated server group, what he will do, he will combine some dedicated application server. Okay, so for example, he will not combine all these application server, he will just take some 3 or 4 application server which he think that it can be available, or there will be much impact when you are going to use this application server and their work processes. So by this way, uh, just let me use the no fill. Okay, so maybe the three application server he will combine together and he will create a server group. Okay, so this is known as the server group. Okay, this is known as the server group, and the server group name just he will give to you, and maybe generally the people keep the name like parallel generators. Okay, the name of this server group is generally kept as a parallel generators, but it can be anything. Okay, this can be anything, this name can be anything. Suppose you have to process some idoc specific work, idoc, some workflow related, so workflow group, something like that they will create and they will give you. Or suppose if it is already created, just he will share the name. Okay, and you can use that server group in your program. So that part we will see in detail in our next video, where we will create a program and we will see that how we are going to use, and how we are going to create the parallel processing program. Okay, so this is just the basic, it is very important to understand. Maybe I can show you this RZ transaction as well to create the parallel the server group. So you can go to RZ, if you have authorization you can also create. Okay, so RZ11, this is the transaction, and you can go over here, you can give the name of the, so maybe uh, I don't know exactly which transaction is to create, but it's my assumption. But you can check from the RZ13, from this RZ13, if some server group is there, you can check all the possible server group. Okay, let me check. Okay, RZ13 does not exist. Let me check with RZ12. Yeah, so you can see this is the RJ12 is the transaction actually, not the RJ13. RJ12 is the transaction where you can go and you can check that what is the, so the logon group, this logon group is nothing but your server group. This logon group is nothing but your server group. So this is the combination of different application server instances. Okay, so you can see there is only one here. Mostly we are having, only one, the s43 underscore 06. They are having underscore s43 underscore 02, but it is not active. You can see it is not active. There is nothing. Only one is active in green status, right? So that's why in parallel underscore generator, this only one is there. Okay, this is, there is no meaning of the 390 because it's inactive. Okay, so suppose they are having some two or three, so what they will put in parallel generators, they will put two or three server groups, not all, not all, because it will hamper their system. So whatever they feel comfortable, like because they are having the better knowledge about the server, like how it's going to be used, so those server which is available or which is less used, maybe they will group together and they will give you, or they will, if that is already there, they will share the name with you. Okay, so what we will do in the next class, we will create, we will create first a use case. We will create one example, and first we will do the normal programming, and then we will do the programming with the help of parallel processing, and then we will see how the performance is going to get improved. Okay, that we will see in detail. However, I can show you one more thing over here, that here I have written some T code, so it's not 13, it's 12, RJ12 to check the server group, SM66, SM21, SM66 I have shown you to check all the work processes, right? It's very important. Okay, and SM51 to check the application servers, a specific work process, right? And the SM21, suppose in case of server failure or something like that, or any system log, if you want to check, you can go to SM21 and you can check over there. So SM21, it's not very much important, but yes, we may require some some, in some case, if our program is going to get failed due to some server failure region or something like that, so you can go in SM51 and you can check the system log. Okay, fine. So, and these are the function module, but these are the optional function module: spbt underscore initialize, spbt underscore get underscore pp underscore destination, spbt underscore do underscore not underscore use underscore server. So these are the three function module, but these all are optional. This is not very, very important, but the important one is this one. This syntax is going to be very, very important. This we are going to use call function starting new task. Okay, so the starting new task will create a new task, and you can see the destination in group, in a server group, right? And here you will specify the server group name in destination, right? And the exceptions and all you are going to handle. So this we are going to see in the next video. So thank you very much for watching this one. If you have any question or comment, you can put it over here. Okay, and maybe we can meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.